Hello, my name is Liz, and you are watching For Booking Out Loud. So today I'm hopefully doing a non-spoiler review of the Earthseed Series, Parable of the Sower. I am going to mispronounce this title the whole video, FYI. I think this Sower. Anytime I see this word, I'm basically knowing I'm going to mispronounce it because it's just one of those words for me. Everyone has one. Go ahead and make fun of me in the comments below. I will accept it. It is a fatal flaw, okay? Okay, I'm an English teacher. I'm aware I am mispronouncing this, but I'm just going to go with it. But I am going to do a review of Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents by Octavia E. Butler. Now, these two books, it's a duology series, so this is the whole series. And it is definitely a dystopian series, and we're just gonna get into it, okay? I just finished Parable of the Talents, and I did try to kind of sleep on what I thought about this book, but I will warn you right now, I don't think I've really fully processed it, so my thoughts might be a little bit more jumbled before I really release this video. And I don't know, I just really wanted to talk about these books because I think that might help me process it. But we're just gonna get into it. So this first book, I'm not saying the title, but this beautiful thing centers on our main character, Lauren, who is very interesting to say the least. She is living in a futuristic society. It's around this time, okay? It's around the 2020s, and her society is very different than ours due to climate change and just kind of what have you. The world is incredibly different. Everything is kind of shattered. People don't have a formal education anymore, and it is just very dangerous to be living in the world. She is growing up kind of in a walled community so that they are more protected than everyone else, and her father is the preacher of their community, and she is the oldest of 4 siblings. So she is kind of growing up in kind of a fatalistic society. She sees no future for herself. She just sees everything going more and more horribly, and it's very interesting. And on top of that, she has a unique ability where she feels the pain of others. Whether someone gets a paper cut, she feels a paper cut. Whether someone is really wounded, she feels that. So in this dystopian society, it's not good to have this ability. And, you know, things happen, so and so. Now, this book picks up a couple years after, I'm not saying this title again, but after this guy ends. What has happened is that Lauren has built up this new religion called Earthseed, and she started her own community after a series of events, and it picks up about 5 years after she has started that community in Parable of the Talents, and kind of what else has and can happen, which can get worse. And that's Parable of the Talents. Also, there's a daughter. I'm really trying not to ruin a lot of things. So, summary. Really bad summary. I apologize, but let's just get into it. These two books are really interesting. So I'm a huge fan of dystopian novels, And I love it even more if I can see reality and sense reality in the dystopian-esque world, right? If I can sense the realisticness, I guess. And in these two books, I at least sense the realisticness. I'm a very pessimistic person. You might not be able to tell from my happy-go-lucky personality, but I do not see a lot of good in humanity a lot of the times, or in the future of humanity, which is really sad to say. I should talk to someone about that. But to say the least, these two books really showcase the worst of humanity. I am a very big fan of horror, mystery, thriller books, and the gorier, the bad taste of humanity, the better. But let me tell you, when I say these books are violent, these books are, they're just not awful, like the books are awful, you shouldn't read them, but awful in the way that humanity is portrayed. These books have it. There's suicide, rape, slavery, gang warfare, drugs, and just overall evilness. These books have it. Like, think of it, these books have it. And it's just one thing after another, torture, one thing after another. It's like, give me a chance to breathe almost as I'm reading it. And that almost turned me away. Like, I could handle it this first book because I could sense an ending. I could sense a hopefulness almost. But let me tell you, as I was reading the second book, I almost put it down a couple of times because of how violent it was. And that, I don't say that lightly because I can handle a lot of things. And it was just a lot. It was quite a bit. And in saying that too, both books had a really long opening. I would say half of both books just kind of dragged the first half, and then the second half of both of them really accelerated exponentially. And so that's kind of what kept me going on this guy. And Octavia Butler, these two are my first Octavia Butler books, and she is a phenomenal storyteller. Her way of writing and creating a world is beautiful, and I am certainly picking up her other work after this. But it was something reading these. I would say if you are not a fan of any type of violence, any type of torture, seeing the worst of humanity, or if you just don't like dystopian, never pick these books up. But if any of that sounds interesting to you, give these a try, most certainly. And in saying that, I would say this guy I gave, I think it was a 4-star or 4.5 star to, just because I really, really liked the dystopian. And this guy, I have to admit, I only gave a 3-star because of how wonderful the storytelling was, but I will never in my life pick this up again. It really disturbed me, if I'm going to admit it. Yeah. And honestly, there was a storyline in here that I wasn't too fond of, and I thought could have done better. These books do get a little preachy. I mean, it's the main character's creating a religion in here, and I'm not a super big fan of that kind of plot line. That's just me. But either way, Octavia Butler created a masterful story in these two books, and I can see why they're very, very beloved. And that's my kind of short, non-spoilery review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I guess I will catch you all later. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.